Good afternoon, boys and girls. It's Miss Weaver back. I have a special guest, Miss Sophie. And as you'll see, we are all dressed up and fancy this afternoon. We're having ourselves a tea party. And you can see in the background, we've got Miss Fancy Nancy. And we'll move Sophie over just a little bit. And there's Minnie Mouse back there enjoying our tea party. Today, we are going to read for you Fancy Nancy. Quiz number 103067. So let's get started. Yeah. Fancy Nancy. This is my room before I made it fancy. I love being fancy. My favorite color is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. What's a plume, Sophie? That's a fancy way of saying feather.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to learn French because everything in French sounds so fancy. Nobody in my family is fancy at all. They never even ask for sprinkles.
I like sprinkles.
You like sprinkles?
Yeah. I eat it my ice cream every day.
Every day. There's a lot they don't understand. Lace-trimmed socks do help me to play soccer better. Sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick in frilly toothpicks. A princess is supposed to keep her tiara on. What's a fancy girl to do? I asked my doll, Maribel. Her full name is Maribel Lavinia Chandelier.
Chandelier? I don't have that doll anymore.
Then I get an idea that is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I make an ad and stick it on the fridge. Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. Start today. Easy, fun, free. Soon there's a knock on my door. Knock, knock, knock.
Ow.
My family saw the ad. They want to get started right away. The trouble is, my family doesn't own any fancy clothes. That's okay. I go find, what is that fancy word? Oh, yes, accessories. Do we have accessories, Sophie?
No.
We don't? What about your necklaces and our headbands?
Yes.
And don't forget our boa.
Yes.
I think we definitely have accessories today. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. My mom twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about dinner at the King's Crown, Dad suggests.
Yes.
Wow, my parents are acting fancy already. May I escort you lovely ladies outside? The limousine is waiting. My dad is our chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driving. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everyone looks up. They probably think that we're movie stars. I am so proud of my whole family. They eat with their pinkies up, and they call each other darling.
Darling.
For dessert, let's have parfaits, my mom says. That's French for ice cream sundaes. Amazing! My mother knows French. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, merci.
Merci.
I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. Oops, I trip, I slip. The tray does a double flip. I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home.
Okay.
After I get all cleaned up, I put on my dressing gown. Those are fancy words for bathrobe. I feel much better. I'm ready for a parfait. I tell my parents, thank you for being fancy tonight. I love you, my dad says. I love you, my mom says. And all I say back is, I love you, because there isn't a fancy or better way of saying that. Well, we hope you enjoyed our book. Go take the test and do great. We can't wait to see you soon.